So if you've been on social media lately, I'm sure you've seen videos on the 4B movement that started in South Korea. The movement exists to try and further women's rights in that country. And, the important thing right off the bat to understand is that the culture and the systems in place in South Korea are very different than what we're experiencing in North America. Only 6% of women hold executive positions in South Korea. In the US, it's almost 32% and has been steadily rising over the past few years. So women are approaching parity in the US as far as executive positions go. So while a movement like this might have some importance in a country that's far, far behind where we are at in North America, I'm not so sure that it's so relevant in our society here in North America. I would put the question out there, what is it you're actually fighting for? To punish men? This movement, by its very definition, can only last one generation. If you're going to make the decision to not have children, then there will be no next generation of young men that you could have taught to respect and appreciate women. There will be no next generation of strong women that you can teach to reach for the stars and not let anything hold them back. There will be no daughter that you can teach to believe what you believe. Your beliefs, by their very nature, will die when you die. Is that what you're fighting for with this movement? It's easy to get angry. It's easy to join a movement. It actually requires little to no effort. Anyone can make a video ranting and raving about how they're being held back, but are they really being held back? That's the important question here. What does take effort is understanding and working together for something greater than each of you while in a relationship. That's what takes effort and commitment. And that effort and commitment produces results that are worth any adversity that may stand in your way.
My greatest highlight of 2024 is finally finding out about 4B, what the 4B movement is. And now you're all going to know what it is, because if you don't know, it's going to brighten your day, ladies. So the 4B movement is a movement that's been going on, that's been created by the women in South Korea since 2019. I think 2019, which is insane that I just found out about it now.
Yeah, really, the reason you just found out about it now is because it's really not relevant to North American society anymore. Getting back to that stat that I put out there, that only 6% of Korean women are in any kind of executive jobs, and it's over 32%, shows that the societies are very different. That's why you haven't heard about it.
So what the 4B movement is it's named 4B because the four words in their language start with B. Somebody said that. I think that's true. But the women of South Korea have gotten so fed up with the misogyny, the sexism, the mistreatment of women, mothers, young girls, that they collectively decided they're not dating, they're not marrying, they're not having sex, and they're not having children with men.
This movement in Korea is to bring attention to conditions that are in that country. Conditions that are in that country are not at all similar to what conditions are for women in the US.
It is iconic. Iconic. And I believe there was another movement that I'm remembering, like in this moment, of maybe a Northern European country where the women were so upset that none of them went to work.
So this was in Iceland, and it was in the 70s. So you're talking more than 40 years ago, and that country obviously has been transformed, and women enjoy the same benefits as men in that country. So, all westernized countries are already moving towards that. They don't really need a gigantic movement or push anymore, because it's just understood in society that women deserve the same rights as men. Yes, there's still a few old boys that are going to hold things back in specific industries, but for the most part, those are the exceptions, not the rules. Most businesses have policies in place to make sure that women have fairer chances at employment, and also have policies in place that regard pay scale. If you're an upper management person at Amazon and you're a woman, you're not making less than the guy next to you. You're making the exact same amount. Those policies have been in place for years now.
For like a few days, and like their economy was like collapsing. I have to do research on that. This is just kind of flying off of my head right now. But I think about that for us. Like, imagine we're 51% of our country's population in the United States. Imagine if all of us just stopped purchasing things for one day. Like, we canceled our subscriptions. We didn't purchase anything on our credit cards, on our debit cards, or like a week. Imagine just all women didn't buy anything for a week. Like the economy would literally dismantle itself. So essentially, the women of South Korea standing on business.
You know, again, who is it that you're punishing? You are trying to punish men, and you're trying to punish all men for the actions of few men. And, you know, that's nothing that anyone should ever be on board with. We should never judge an entire collective by how a few members of that collective act. That's just not fair to the people that are honestly good people and wanting to be their best selves. Having children was the best decision I've ever made. It's been a blessing. It gave my life meaning. It gave my life direction and purpose. My kids are without doubt my greatest accomplishment and also my greatest joy. Far more important than any career decision or accomplishment, far more than any material possessions. The only thing that possibly could have made the experience better is if they could have somehow come from within me. This is the gift. This is the gift that only women can experience. So understand that you aren't punishing men. If you're making a conscious decision to not have children, you're not really controlling the situation. You are punishing yourself. You are punishing yourself. Men and women will always exist together. We are at our best as humans when we work together for common goals. We shouldn't view the opposite sex as adversaries because of some bad people and bad experiences. We should view them as our ride or dies to take on the world and to rise to greatness. A couple working together is always going to be stronger and achieve more than an individual could on their own. And one of the greatest experiences we can possibly have as humans is to raise the next generation of children together from a stable household. Think about this. Do you really want to punish yourself and deny yourself one of life's greatest experiences to hurt someone else? Someone that you haven't even met yet? What's the point in that?